Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome. It's so nice to have you here with us today at USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is the power of etiquette and manners. Our topic is how to build community around your brand. And if you were with us last week, we started a conversation about this topic. And today we actually have an expert with us who's going to help us dive even further about this and the importance of networking. Let's welcome the star of our show. He is the principal and founder of the British School of Excellence. He is helping people turn their lives around to an incredible, rewarding way to give back, to help others understand that etiquette and manners is more than just opening a door or how to hold a teacup. It's all about respect, emotional intelligence, and integrity, something that we can all live our lives by starting this very minute. Welcome to the program, Mr. Philip Sykes. It's so nice to have you with us.
Happy Friday, Dr. Jacalyn. Hello.
Friday.
How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Very, very well. How's the weather in the USA?
Well, it is steaming hot here in Florida, but that's the way that I like it. I think it was in the mid 80s yesterday. You know, I spend most of my day here behind the green screen. I look forward to the end of the day when I can go out in the beautiful sunshine. What's it like there?
What a joy. What a joy. Well, if you want to know what the weather's doing in the UK, you can just, you don't even need to wonder. You can just take a guess, and it's been cool, bit of drizzle, bit of sunshine. We have 4 seasons in one day, that's for sure. So yeah, it's great. It's Friday, and we're very excited to have this amazing guest coming on with us very shortly. And I'm excited to let this take a wonderful journey. And I hope people have got a pen and paper ready to take some wonderful notes down.
Absolutely. And, you know, Philip, it's interesting because, as I mentioned just in the intro, when it comes to etiquette and manners, there's etiquette and manners in how we connect with people, in how we network with people, in how we build our brand. And I really enjoyed last week's episode with you where we were talking about building brands and etiquette and manners. I think it was really fascinating for me. I got a lot of really wonderful insights, and I'm excited to explore this even deeper with our expert today. Before we bring Bart out, I want to spotlight you. For people who are joining us for the first time, we always have new people. What is it that you do there at the British School of Excellence?
Thank you. For first timers on USA Global TV on this wonderful Friday, 3 p.m. GMT, 10 a.m. on the coastline of the United States of America, East Coast. Here at the British School of Excellence, we build confidence and we change lives in every sense of the word by giving you these quintessential tools to implement into your life, to give you that opportunity to put your best foot forward. And that's really what it's all about. So it's understanding yourself better. It's understanding how to connect with people with dynamic communication, understanding our body language, understanding our emotional intelligence, understanding the importance, but not only the importance, but the power of etiquette and manners. We start with youngsters with our ETIQUETTE brand from the age of 6, moving through to our trio offering for teenagers, which is mindset and confidence, mindset and resilience, and mindset and money. Then into the polished professional, the polished students. We go into our train the trainer. We've then got our amazing EQ programs. We've got our voice coaching. We've got our style and image consultancy. We really do offer you something that will give you that added advantage in your life. And we would love you just to come on have a look at our website, which is www.thebritishschoolofexcellence.com, or reach out to us via hello@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. And it really is about you taking on board incredible tools to live your best life.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. And we do encourage you to go to the website and get involved and connect with Philip. Go over to LinkedIn and connect with him. Go to his website. Philip, I just want to say hello and thank you to Leanne, who has introduced you to our fabulous guest. And you've introduced me. Tell us a little bit about Bart.
So Bart, we as an organization are growing, which is wonderful. And we were looking around for an expert. Leanne, through her incredible sort of network, met Bart in Poland. Bart is originally from Poland, but he flits between the UK and Poland, as well as travels in various different countries. And once we got talking to Bart, he really drove it home to us how important our CRM is and how we need to really capitalize on that, because we just have not been using our back end, our CRM, to the best of its ability. And so we connected along those lines, and since then, Bart has invited us to become part of an amazing network, an organization that he's established with over 10,000 members, and we're slowly getting our feet under the desk with the whole setup and scenario. And, you know, as I always love sharing with everyone, you know, in life, your network is your net worth. And this is exactly where Bart comes from with his areas of expertise and professionalism.
Fantastic. Let's bring Bart out and hear what he has to say. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching us. And I'm glad to be here. I watched previous shows, which I'm excited to share some of my stories. And perhaps we can have some discussion with lovely people.
Absolutely. We encourage people who are watching to engage with us. Please post your questions or any comments, any feedback. We would love to hear from you. So, Bart, I just want to give people an idea. When we talk about CRM, we're talking about customer relationship management tool. Is that correct?
Customer relationship management, that is correct. Yes, some of actually our clients before moving to the CRM are actually associating M letter as a customer relationship mess, because quite bizarre. We all have thousands of different systems, but we don't have that relationship mapped out. So CRM is a management, is a CRM, is an old-fashioned way of old-fashioned actually system. CRM has been known for a number of years, but obviously now in the age of working remotely is more than ever important to actually map that relationship, especially in business, to grow your business. But also my background comes with building a community. I'm a fair believer of networking and building connections. I'm a founder of Polish Business Being organization with many members in London and in Warsaw. We are also planning our expansion into US market, and I'm happy to share my stories and a little bit of networking techniques that you might apply from the one.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Just a follow-up question. I'll go over to Philip. So when I was in corporate for my entire career until 2020, we used a CRM. We were required to use what was a customer relationship management tool to put all of our clients in there, and then what our activity was, what our expected sales were, so that everybody in the organization above could see what we were doing. And I found it to be extremely helpful. Other people didn't like it because maybe they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. I don't know. But can you share with us what are some of the applications that business owners can use? You don't have to be a giant conglomerate corporation, right? Bart?
Yeah, sorry. So when it comes to HubSpot and the CRM systems, one stats I've got to share with you is that average in 2021, that was a little bit old stats, average growing business in the US use over 200 SaaS businesses, SaaS apps to run the business. We're talking about something like QuickBooks, like social media, like Facebook, and so on and so forth. So the problem is nowadays is that we are overwhelmed with number of applications, and we don't know where the source of truth of our business is. Many would say that obviously your accountant and accountancy is your place for you to actually make up decision, but it's not actually that easy because it's so difficult to make a forecast about what is coming in and how many leads you're generating, what your salespeople are doing, and finally how many business you can close within next week, month, or the quarter. So the whole idea of CRM or system in place, we call it CRM, but I would call it as a one system to grab the data in from different parts of your business, to combine in one place, especially between sales and marketing, to understand actually how sales is converting the marketing leads and how marketing is bringing the sales. And also, finally, once we actually do the sales, what will happen after? Let's be honest, this is we are now online. Everything is so much visible. So having a system in place to actually track all of the data, all of the apps in one place would help you to make an informed decision and help you grow better.
Ooh, absolutely. I'm breathing a sigh of relief there because it sounds like you are really able to help us as business owners save time, which is such an important commodity. Philip, what do you think?
It's fundamental, and this is this is about building relationships, and we as human beings, we don't have the capacity to remember every finite detail on everyone we meet, and that is exactly where these amazing systems, and especially one, and I'm not here to advertise HubSpot, but HubSpot really it's the bells and whistles in every sense of the word. We've tried different systems, and for us, HubSpot, we actually left HubSpot and gone back to it. And it's a fundamental tool, as Bart said, to bring everything together under one umbrella. Otherwise, you're just going to be like having your mind is going to be like a machine gun. You're going to be scattering yourself all over the place, and you'll run yourself ragged. And you need to bring something on that really does open and close every door for you. You need someone obviously to operate it, and every person within the back end of the CRM system has to have coaching and training on it. But it's also one of those operations that you can't blow it up. So if you make a mistake, it won't, you won't mess the whole system up. So I think people are often very afraid to jump into using a CRM system or a management system that captures data. And it is all about data. Whether we like it or not, our phones are listening to us, our digital apparatus are listening to us, and it's all about data capture. And if we can really hone in on capturing what it is, and I don't like the word client or customer. I'm talking about guests. We should treat everyone as an individual and as a guest. We've talked about this as in hospitality intelligence. So the more information we can get about one another, the more we can do for one another, the more we can make that person feel so special and so attended to, and we can help them with their needs, wants, and desires.
Absolutely. I see Bart shaking his head. Tell us what you're thinking.
What I would add is a nurturing part. I would add to Philip comment is, and very interesting story is about a little bit of life exercise really for everyone. If someone is actually visiting your website now, it probably will become a client within the next 6 to 12 months. It is just the what would happen between when they enter your website, what will happen after. Quite often we as entrepreneurs are really rapidly growing, want to grow our business, and we want to actually push them. Okay, you have quite a lot of different pushy emails by sending you the different kind of resources and sending you quickly sell, buy and buy and buy. But the truth is that we as the entrepreneurs and we as the buyers, really we don't want to be treated like a spammers really. So the whole idea of CRM system is to also recognize when is actually good time to have a sales conversation. It's not always a sales conversation is good when someone actually fill the form and they contact you, or maybe then download the form. And the reason I'm talking about this because the HubSpot is in a forefront of the inbound methodology, which is a more nurturing education and giving you a little bit more kind of insight of how the people actually reacting. This is about the data. So one of the example what we've done in our own business is we actually look at the data of the past 24 months, and we look, okay, what happened before actually this client decided to actually buy the product from us. And it was tons of different information, like website they visited, what webinars they've attended. We could figure out what would be and what time would be the best for contact, and in that case we can be more personalized with approach. So that data, that example will give you the data, how data can help you to leverage the outreach and the process that you can follow.
Thank you so much. I'm wondering if we can start with basics. So I have HubSpot, and again, not a paid spokesperson, but I do have HubSpot, and I use it to gather my email, make my email list for my newsletters. So from there, what are some other things that I could do with the platform to really monetize what I'm doing?
It's a very good question. So I think I would start from looking at the mapping who will have access to your HubSpot, who will have access, who will actually influence on the database building. So it could be usually your salespeople, or maybe your introducers, or maybe people who actually are part of of your team, marketing, copywriters. So map out who should have access, who will influence the database. So that's probably the number one. Number two is get connected. HubSpot is, or any other CRMs are really well connected with a website, with like forums. What you want to do is basically do not have any leakage in the bucket. So we don't want to have that person who will find you on a nice link on the LinkedIn. They will be redirected to somewhere that we won't get this person recognized in our CRM. So we want to map out all the data that we have, and basically change the links so we will make sure that all the data that is there won't be lost. So that is the two options. The final option is, I think, the adoption, and that is quite important part of any systems that you're gonna use. Is what we found, and that probably it will reflect to any kind of consultancy business, is that we are all overwhelmed with number of different options. We have fantastic systems. We have now, TikToks and so on. But what if we actually won't start using it? So what we found, that CRM adoption is very much important. So how much are we using every day? Is a HubSpot a place that we actually reflect every day and find and trying to find the information? How we can use the different tools in order to speed up the process, like for example sequences with sales, one of the sales tool. How we gonna actually create, what data are we actually looking from our clients? So if you are the good example, for example, of the business who, let's say mortgage example, if I run a mortgage business or any financial advice business, I want to have a one data saved out of each prospect. When is that mortgage due for renewal? That date will be much important for me to actually get that saved in HubSpot and send a reminder to me, to actually maybe 2-3 months before that date, I will actually give a call and have a conversation. So think about what information would you like to have out of your business, save to the HubSpot or any CRM, and then try to use it on an everyday basis.
Yeah, I'm thinking through that. That's very powerful.
It is. It's huge. It really is. It is. It's really a connector.
So, Bart, when you're working with a new client, what information do you need from them as a representative of HubSpot in order to facilitate a powerful takeaway like what you just described for the mortgage industry?
I think the all will start with the basic question: what is your goal? And in certain, so we tend to work with quite a lot of heavy sales environment people, which are focusing on activities. But the first question is, how many contacts are you generating every month? And quite often people don't know, because they don't have any space. They generate contacts through WhatsApp, through, I don't know, through forums, through phone calls, but they don't have any place to actually combine this data and say, okay, every week we generate 50 contacts. So once we know how many contacts, number one, do you generate, or number two, would you like to generate, then we can create a plan. We can create a plan how they can come to us rather us to them. So the whole principle of CRM and approach is not only to talk about ourselves, as I did mention before, is to more how we can build desire so people actually come to us. And when you actually think the example of maybe I'll use the dating example, when people actually go to the parties, quite often, I mean, not very often it's happening that guy is coming to the party and is having a wedding ring and finally finding this lovely lady and is just proposing for the wedding. So this is where the mistake is, when the salespeople are doing. They proposing on the first date, which is completely rubbish. They will ruin every single date. So what we want to do in our CRM, we want to build that path. We want to build that path of desire. How to build desire that you want to actually build a relationship with me as a salesperson, as an organization. And that could be different things, webinars now, events. We can have ebooks, we can have content. We can prove ourselves with a trusted number of referral organizations. We can be BNI members, for example, and we can promote that as something that people can be part of. So plan for everyone is to look at what the path might look like from the very beginning of if someone is coming to you as a potential client up to the time when they actually press the buy button. Yes, I want to pay for this service.
What a fabulous analogy that you just gave about the proposal. That's so true. Having been in sales my whole career, really, is that you see salespeople just pushing for the sale. They don't even know you. They don't know what you need, and they're proposing. I love that. Don't you, Philip?
Absolutely. What a great analogy. And many years ago, it's something that I learned very quickly, again, through the power of surrounding myself with incredible business coaches. And one of my business coaches said it's value, 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 and then you can make the proposal. You've got to absolutely court. The courtship is so important, but the whole time as you're showing sincerity, you're showing likability and trust. And that way you can really sort of start to develop a really great relationship with your potential guest.
One extra comment I would like to make up how to build a community also in terms of and why to build a community. We all mentioned about the community nowadays is very popular and hard word now, and everyone is using it. And a little bit of story about the community is I strongly believe that there is now time of optimizing. Everyone is watching, every single dollar double side. Okay, well, before I spend, I want to make sure that this dollar is well spent. So if I like the analogies, so back again, if we don't have a community in front of our business or if in front of our brands, it doesn't need to be a massive community. We're not talking about a massive like Coca-Cola style millions of people. We're talking if you are in a niche market, have a community of 50, 100 people who are really advocating in front of you, and then they can talk about you. So I think the importance of building community and the system like HubSpot who can help facilitate like sending emailing, maybe reminders, maybe events or show like this, it's fantastic way of actually building the trust. So I would probably one of the tip is to think about how you can build your own values. So it's all about why you're doing thing. And I met an incredible person in London on one of the events. She's doing events for women in business, in tech business, and she managed to build 30,000 of different women. Now she's working with major banks, and she's doing not for money. She's doing this for community building, and because of that community, her business grew automatically. So one of the my ask to the audience is an inspiration after the weekend is to think how we can build that community. Maybe Facebook group, maybe something else, maybe LinkedIn. Try something that will bring you trust and worthy, and then that once you start and establish that community, it will be much easier for you to to build the trust and sell better.
Thanks, Bart. And what is involved in terms of a time commitment? Is this something that once we get started with you that we work on together and then at some point we hand it off to you or you hand it off to us?
I'm strongly believer to give any entrepreneurs fishing rod, not a fish. There are different approaches on the markets, obviously, but my idea is if someone would like to have a own fishing rod and understand the whole vehicle and drive. So I would say that as initial setup point and yeah, will take, depending on the size of organization, 3-6 months, maybe more. That is the initial point that we will then obviously organization will be ready. We usually if depending on the size of the organization, if we're talking about 10, 15, 20 people, we usually find a leader that is the CRM leader in the organization and used to work with the leader. So leader will then be in the forefront of the organization with the knowledge how to use the different techniques of community building and automation and so on. But in between, obviously, there is a number of options that we can fulfill, like technical support. If you use the other system, like for example, stock management system, and you would like to have this connected, then obviously some IT requirement will be needed, so we can fulfill that role. But also we work as a community, so we can either provide services then and outsource completely to us, or we can refer the businesses or people who can create. What I would encourage everyone to think about the content creation is very much important for that bit. Obviously, with new things coming up, like Chat GDP, for example, that things might be a little bit easier. What is not easier? Implementation these strategies. So thinking over how you can create the content, how you can create the nice graphics, how you can create the nice videos. So obviously, in terms of outreach, you will be more visible, and you can reach your goals very quickly.
I love that. Bart, I'm really fascinated with this topic, but I don't want it to be about me. What I'm doing, I see there on your banner that you also have founder of Polish Business Link. Can you tell us about that? What does that mean?
So it's a little bit of story of myself, really. PB Link is probably what's called my baby, and the PB Link stands for Polish Business Link. We are B2B business accelerator, business club. And what happened over the past years, the organization actually will have a 10th year anniversary in June, which is fantastic. And this is, predominantly this is the community, full community, and we would like to scale that community across Europe and US. So what happened is I was born in Poland, and I came to Scotland, to Edinburgh, where I'm staying now. And because of me moving to different country, I faced and me having opportunity to open the business, I faced the massive challenge, obviously, how to run the business, how to find the people who can help me to grow the business, and something even simple like how to register a business. As a self-employed, I'm talking about 10 years ago. So um, I was looking around myself and started looking and building the knowledge out of the face-to-face conversation. And finally, I was encouraged by Chamber of Commerce, British Polish Chamber of Commerce, to run first event in Edinburgh that happened in 2012. First event happened, had hundreds of people, and I was encouraged by community to actually maybe run another event. So after 10 years, we organized probably about 500 events, some ups and downs in between. But what I learned is that I learned quite a lot of information out of the books, that there are practical approach how to run the business. UK is very specific when it comes to relationship with business. Poland is more transactional approach for businesses. And what I managed to do is I've managed to build a network and learn how networking should work. And as Philip mentioned, networking is your net worth, and I'm really, really like this idea.
Yeah, I like that idea as well. And thanks for sharing a little bit of your background with us. I always think it's interesting to find out what the motivation is. So, something I want to share early on, I see maybe in 2019, I met someone who was talking about networking. And what she really shared with me is we're walking around handing out business cards, just to your point about the proposal. We haven't even gotten the permission to give the business card, but yet here we are, just here, take our card, take our card. And so there's certain techniques when it comes to networking, bringing value and not asking for anything in return. And Bart, I'm wondering, with your experience, how do you feel about this?
I'm calling this as a leaflet distribution, and you're completely right. Uh, uh, just exchanging cards or business cards, or now QR codes. We have all these fancy QR codes now. It's not a networking. It's a process. I think so. in my opinion, I think the networking should have a kind of 5 pillars, not only the what is called the leaflet distribution as you described. First of all, I would suggest everyone to actually focus on why we network. Why do you want to network? Why me? What will benefit you as a individual or business? Because we need to have a fun. Networking is a fun, and people quite a lot of forgetting about this. This needs to be you. Number two is the preparation. We need to get prepared. We need to get prepared that we need to do activities. So when we do activities with marketing, sales, with finance, let's get prepared activities with networking, attend the events, engage with people. Now the interaction, and this is this important bit, because what is very much important, like doing, like exchanging business cards, like leaflets, is one of the interaction that won't work. But how we introduce ourselves, what we are talking about ourselves, how we get remembered. So networking is not about me, it's about someone else will remember me because something I helped them with. Then very much important part is following up. I think some nations, including Poland, are pretty much reluctant to actually following up, because they say something like, oh, maybe it's not actually a good idea to maybe phone that person because I had a just conversation once. This is completely wrong. The following up is the process, and believe me or not, but some of my biggest businesses came from the following up after 2-3 years. When I actually refreshed the connections, I had a system in place, and they said something like, okay, I'm ready to do the business with you. So following up is the fourth one, and the final one is what I call the building effective long relationships, which is basically using systems like LinkedIn, like reminders, like basically helping each other, helping the other networks to achieve their goals. And I'm 100% sure, if once you fulfill their goals, they will remember. The network will remember about you.
And what a fabulous example to share that you followed up. And even though it was years later, I think, just going back from my days of being in sales, if you think of the big funnel, we have, some opportunities that are going to take years, and we have to keep, what's it, like a drip campaign, for example, email drip campaign, but where you have to stay in touch and continuously bring value. And I think that's where some people just fall off. They want that immediate return, that proposal for every single first date.
100% sure. Another example is when you bake the cake, and maybe when you bake the bread, rather, you need to make sure that you have a good yeast, good water, good enough temperature. It will raise a little bit. You need to put into the oven for that certain number of minutes and take it out. It is the same idea all over again. Don't put your cake or bread straight on, because it won't work.
I love that. Great visuals. Philip?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Something that I love, just taking a step back, the idea of communities. This is so prevalent to every business, because not only are you building an incredible group of people, but you're helping that group of people to connect with one another. A, B, they're becoming your advocate. You're actually creating amazing advocates for yourself, because the first thing they're going to think of if someone says, could you recommend X, Y, and Z to me? Oh, you must go and speak to Bart. You must go and speak to Dr. Jacalyn. You must meet X, Y, and Z at the British School of Excellence. So that is just absolutely phenomenal. And when it comes to the actual networking, I love the fact that Bart came up, or he's got those 5 pillars. And this is something we teach in our networking etiquette program. It is absolutely having a what can I do for you attitude. Don't ask for anything. Build, share, offer, have that what can I do for you? How can I support you? How can I help you? And this is something that is 150% crucial. Always follow up. Always. No matter if you've been given a card in a foreign language, there's still an email address there. You follow up and you try and drop something in there from the event that you remember about the conversation you had with that individual. It is so important that follow up. It might not be instant. You've got to nurture this relationship. And as Bart rightly said, a year down the line, 2 years down the line, boom, all of a sudden something comes from it. But it's not just a one-off email. It's nurturing that relationship over the months to come. For example, let's say, Dr. Jacalyn, I met you at a networking event, and I knew you were coming over to the UK, and you were going to be spending some time in Oxford. And all of a sudden, I received an article about Oxford. first thing I'm thinking, I'm going to send this to Dr. Jacalyn. It's going to give her a bit of an insight into Oxford University and the Oxford town and where she could potentially stay and all of those sort of things. And this is about the nurturing sort of scenario. It's as simple as you might know one of your clients collects old vintage postcards, and you happen to be somewhere and you come across a pack of old, and you buy them and you send them in the post to her or him. Boom! What are you going to get from that? It's huge, and this is what we call relational capital. It is so important.
And I agree with you, Philip, and consistency. I think consistency, that is especially with generations who actually want to have that thing done very quickly. It won't work because it's a consistency. We need to actually nurture, we need to build, we need to check what is working. So from the perspective of HubSpot, coming back to the systems in place, for example, we can create a number of texts or templates, and we can actually look at the analytics, how the templates are being opened and clicked, for example. Okay, which templates for the follow-up emails are actually working better than others, so we can actually be clever more with the wording or with the way that we actually express. But one thing I would say is that what I would always add the human element to that relationship. So it's so much easy to actually create number of templates or kind of playbook to follow, but that playbook is just not human way. The human way is when we actually put a little bit of effort and build a context for any relationship in place that you rightly mentioned, and then once you build that context, people will remember you, because ultimately the one thing that will distinguish ours from others is us, is our relationship.
So true. And going back to HubSpot, for the business owners who are out there now and they're thinking, well, I'm not using HubSpot at the moment, I'm using something else. How am I going to take all my data and get it over there?
Yeah, so HubSpot is a CRM, is a data tool, and each single CRM does have opportunity to number one, download and upload the data, usually in Excel file. So in typical example, you have a number of contacts, number of companies, and number of transactions. So that is the common thing we sell to the people. People are belonging to the organization, and that organization is buying from you. So we have a 3 piece of data that we need to upload for. That is usually easy upload and download to the data. Then moving forward with the data, once you get the data, fulfill with your own information. So the data with your own information is something like when they last time clicked your your email campaign, or maybe when last time you had a meeting with them. The reason this is important, that date, for example, is that we can use the filter in our own new CRM system to filter the people who we want to actually approach for the first time.
I love how there's such a thoughtful process in place that you take all of that worry, concern, and fear away from the business owner and their team.
It takes the pain away, right? It takes the pain away, because I'm not a technical person and I need to focus on what I'm good at. And then you bring an expert in. And Bart and I had these conversations in the whole sort of courtship and understanding, there wasn't one time that Bart or one of his team didn't make themselves available to, to give us that incredible support and understanding. And, it's that relational connection that it's about. Everything's about human connection, whether you like it or not. I don't care what anyone says. This fourth industrial revolution, if you cannot connect with people and communicate and make people feel comfortable and make people feel welcome, you're going to lose out on so much in life. The AI side of things, we all need to be up to some sort of speed, absolutely. Let the techies deal with the AI, but if people who are just totally technology driven and not people driven, they're going to fall down.
Good point. This might be a topic for another episode, but one thing is, we get so many emails, right? We're barraged with emails. And I personally, when somebody shares their newsletter, I always look at it. I want to learn what other people are doing. But when it comes to my newsletter, I'll see sometimes people will unsubscribe. And so people have that option. How do we get through the clutter so that our message is really resonating? Because when you think about bringing value and creating this relationship with someone whom you don't know well, right? You don't actually know what it is they need because they're on a list, an email list. How do we get our email read?
Nothing wrong again if someone will unsubscribe. It's nothing wrong again if we actually have a, with no, we have just, handful friends, every one of us. I think there is someone says is that we can only build a relationship with 150 people, and outside of this is just that, some phone numbers in our phone. So it's okay, let people, it's okay to let people unsubscribe and go. And what is also interesting fun fact is that we are selling quite a lot of the people who are actually unsubscribed for different reasons, because maybe they are too noisy, we are too noisy with number of information. But the second part is very much important when it comes to segmentation. So do segment the data the way that you want to send the marketing message. So if you have 5 different groups of segments, have a different approach for emailing or any kind of comms campaigns. One of the example is how we can actually send the email campaign, email or any kind of comms to clients and non-clients. That is the basic one. How we gonna actually promote anything to clients and non-clients. But another one, okay, people who we met through networking and there is a fairly cold relationship, or people who actually we had a conversation, so there is some record in our CRM. Let's say that we had a conversation in the last 12 months. That's a little bit different group of people. So think about your way of segmenting the data and apply different means of contacts. And one of the important bit is also that we are all overwhelmed with email marketing. Remember, we have a WhatsApp now, we have a Facebook, we have different means of connections. And one of the interesting fact is, let's give our people access and a choice how they're gonna be contacted by us. Maybe they want to be WhatsApp, and that's fine. So let's leave them email and not send anything on email. Let's use the WhatsApp. So give them a choice, and they will appreciate it.
That's genius. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, yes, why would you send something to a client, a guest, that's the same as someone who's not? And no wonder that people who are not are going to unsubscribe, because you don't know what it is they need. And the segmentation piece of it, I think that makes so much sense. So, is it possible to do all of these things through the HubSpot platform?
Some of them yes, some of them no. Obviously, HubSpot itself is not like all-in-one tool. Suddenly, we will end up only with one. However, what I encourage always is to how we can use different third-party apps that connects with HubSpot. That is 1,500, which is fantastic. So one way is to look and recognize how we can change our own behavior within business. And quite a lot of us, and probably lots of people might laugh, okay, I'm sending email to everyone, the same email to everyone. So one small change, don't change everything in one place, just one small one bit, and see how the results are coming. And then just apply different means of connections and contacts and see how this will work. WhatsApp was introduced recently to the HubSpot and as a tool, and you can connect WhatsApp as a channel to connect, and you can automatically reply. You can do the automation even with WhatsApp. More are coming. More different channels are coming, including Facebook Messenger, for example. So we can have used one system in place to actually combine the data. But predominantly what I encourage everyone is to look at what they're using, what type of channels they're using, and trying to actually look of the integration. There is a marketplace. When you Google marketplace HubSpot, you will find thousands of different apps. Probably most of them you will find them there in mainstream apps. If there is something not available, we can always build something custom.
Thanks for explaining that. I appreciate it. We are just about out of time. Philip, a final question from you or comment?
No, I mean, I just love the way Bart makes it easy to understand. And that's it, because I think so many of us are bamboozled by techie terms and that sort of thing. It's the old adage in life, keep it simple, stupid. And again, this is, I think, something that all of us need to take on board when it comes to building our audience and building our network and networking with people. Don't go in there with big, huge words. Go in there with simplicity. You should be able to talk and connect with people so a 6-year-old could understand you. And I think that's really, really important. And the other thing that was also really important that Bart brought to light is, when we are face-to-face with people and connecting with people, we need to know what we offer. We can't mumble about it. We can't stumble on something. We've got to be short, sharp, and to the point. We've got to absolutely, within a few seconds, get someone interested and excited in what we're sharing, that they want to know more about you. They want to dig a bit deeper. And I think those are all very fundamental aspects and key points in this 45 minutes we've all had together.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And Bart, you've brought so much wonderful information, thought provoking. I have all these ideas. I'm going to be reaching out to you myself. So I'm going to spotlight you. And if you can just let our audience know as we close out the show, how can they reach you and the value that you will offer them?
Once again, thank you very much, everyone watching our conversation. I really enjoy it. AutomateNow.uk is the website with lots of different resources. Once again, AutomateNow.uk. That's lots of resources, but also please find me on the LinkedIn. I'm there. I'm trying to post any kind of comments about H2H sales automation, I call it. I also encourage you to actually Google it. H2H Sales Automation Podcast. Sooner we will have another episode with lovely Leslie, who will be talking about how to build H2H sales content. That episode will be live next week. But also reach out to me if you have any questions related to community building. Happy to have a conversation and happy to exchange any kind of tips and tricks with HubSpot as well.
Thank you so much, Bart. An absolute pleasure having you here today. And please do join us for some of our other shows. We have our business talk show, as well as other audiences who would love to hear what it is that you shared today.
Absolutely. A guest. You could be a guest at anything, Bart. That would be wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bart. Enjoy the rest of your day and weekend. Bye for
Dziękuję,
now.
Bart. Dziękuję. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. What a fabulous show. My head is spinning, Philip. More things that
I can see that's taken you like there's a hook there. It's like catching a marlin, right? Yeah, with using
yeah.
And that's what it's all about. I think, everyone thinks networking is just throwing out a net and you'll catch something. We can do that approach, but think about how finite it is and how dynamic it is when you can really start to hone in on your audience. And it's the same as building an avatar. Don't just throw the net wide. Find out who you are working for. In other words, what do you offer? What pain points are you helping people on? What are you helping people with? Are you saving them time? Are you saving them angst? Whatever it might be. And then look into that pool of water and put the right bait on and go fishing into that pool of water. Build your avatars. Where do your potential audience shop? Where do they spend time out, going out for holidays, eating? What sort of schools do they send their children to, and so forth. Build your so-called avatar on who you want to connect with, and then build a database and start to funnel that into your database and start to build this amazing community. But you've got to be able to put your money where your mouth is. You can't just say to people, we'll do X, Y, and Z for you, or we must get together for a coffee, and nothing ever happens.
Such great points. Thank you. And I also just want our audience to know that you and I are going to be doing another show together. And I'm going to pull up the graphic. It is Children Live What They Learn, the Power of Etiquette and Manners for Children. We've already had someone book in for this. What will this show be about, and who do we want to be on the show, Philip?
For me, it's very much about anybody who understands the importance. And I think it's not about anybody understanding the importance of etiquette and manners. If we can furnish our children with the correct tools in life, you really will set up an amazing platform for them. And it's what I mean by those sort of tools is nurturing your children. And that's why it's entitled Children Learn What They Live, because they do. If we give them all the right sort of guidance and steering in life, a lot of them will come out the other end on top. If we don't give them that guidance and steering, unfortunately, they will be directionless. And this is the power of etiquette and manners. It's not a list of do's and don'ts and yeses and no's. It's not at all. It's about the deep-rooted understanding of nurturing our children, spending quality time with our children, walking the walk, talking the talk, because whether we like it or not in life, the old adage in life, monkey see, monkey do. And I heard many years ago, someone said, spend half as much money on your children and spend twice as much time. And that's really what it's about. But in that time you're spending with them, make sure you're fully present. Make sure you're fully focused on the moment and be in that moment. No distractions, and give your children that nurturing, that love, that empathy, that social skills, all the things that are going to give them the best way forward in their lives.
I love what you just shared. Thank you for that. And I'm going to share my screen just very quickly. I think I did this last week, but we really want people to book in and join us. So I'm going to just walk you through how to do it. Just go over to our website, which you can access through usaglobaltv.com or usaglobaltvandradio.com. And when you get here, just look across the top for book your session. You can page down. You see we offer coaching to help prepare you for your interview when you come on the platform. And then we offer services to help you after you've been on the show. So when you come down here to book your session, you'll see the various shows. Here's our show right here. Let's say you wanted to book in for this one. You would just click this. And let me just come down to the other show and I'll walk us through how to book in on that one. You see, we offer a lot for all different audiences. So here it is. Children live what they learn. You come here and you look for the next available dates. And we see that March 3rd is open. So you would click on March 3rd. It's at 11 a.m. Eastern time. As you see here on the screen, everything is in Eastern time. So for GMT, you would add 5 hours. We click on here, you book, and then here you go. You can fill in your information and answer these questions. And these questions are really here so that we can showcase you in the best light. We understand what your background is. We understand what it is you want to talk about. So that's how you would book in for any of the shows. Just go over to usaglobaltv.com or usaglobaltvandradio.com. Philip, last words from you as we close out for this Friday, the last Friday in February.
Can you believe it? I mean, this year just soldiering and marching on. I mean, we're coming up to the final month of the first quarter. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's yeah, where does time go? Just to everybody out there, you know, really make an effort to think about where you want to go in life. Think about the importance of what you can bring to the party and how you can guide and steer people. Jump onto USA Global TV when you have a spare moment. Save it to listen to on your way into work rather than wasting time on various different social media channels. Really educate yourselves, get out there, help other people, guide them, steer them. And if you ever need any guidance and steering, please reach out to the British School of Excellence at any point in time, and we would love to engage with you and discuss whatever it is we could potentially help you with.
Thank you so much, Philip. And once again, another wonderful episode. If you would like to watch our shows and find out where you can see them, go over to YouTube and just put in USA Global TV and Radio, or USA Global TV will come up, and you'll see all the shows are in playlists. And I love to send people to YouTube because YouTube gives us real data that we can use to determine where are people watching, when are they watching, and what are the demographics of the people who are watching. So again, please go over to YouTube, USA Global TV and Radio, and subscribe. Philip, one thing just occurred to me. You have a couple of special events that are coming up. Would you like to talk about them?
Yes, the 1st of March, 6 p.m. GMT, so that's 11 a.m. your time, Dr. Jacalyn. We are running a taster session for Train the Trainer. It's going to be an interactive session. We've got some wonderful past Train the Trainer guests coming in into the studio. We would love you to sign up for that. Go to the website www.thebritishschoolofexcellence.com and sign in and sign up for the Train the Trainer taster session. Then in the Wednesday, I think it's the 15th of March, we've got Enkeleda Hoxha from all the way from Italy, who's coming in to talk about the power of etiquette and manners, emotional intelligence, and how we can really be very, very dynamic as human beings and help ourselves. So those are just 2 events that are in the pipeline. And then at the end of March, we're running our 5-day program, Train the Trainer, and it's actually starting at 2 p.m. UK time to accommodate anybody coming in from South America, North America, Canada, anywhere in that neck of the woods, Europe, and if anyone wants to come in from Asia, it's going to be very late in the evening, early hours of the morning. But 2 to 8 p.m. GMT, that Train the Trainer will be running from the last week of March.
Philip, just a curiosity for people who are wondering, do they have to attend in person or can they attend virtually?
The Train the Trainer is in person, very much in person, yeah. The other episodes we're running, the taster and Enkeleda series, obviously will be recorded, but we would love you to be there live and commenting and that sort of thing.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for being here. And thank you to everyone who's watching and listening. This is one of our most popular shows. We really do appreciate you. We'll be back again next week with more education, hope, and inspiration. So that's all we have for now. Our next show will be coming up. It is Talking Heads with Dr. Madeline Chan. So please join us for that. Until then, we will wish you well and have a great weekend.
Wonderful
Bye,
weekend.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.